This is Bob Giles at the NAIAS Detroit Auto Show. I spotted these 4 classic station wagons parked in a corner of the show floor. They had just arrived in Detroit from a cross-country trip that included visits to several national parks. It's called the Drive Home, an annual caravan organized by the LeMay America's Car Museum in Tacoma, Washington, and the American Heritage Trust. I asked Diane Liz Schneider, who is this year's road boss, to explain their 7-day adventure.
You know, we have a museum, but we believe that cars should be driven and not just kept in a museum. So every year for 6 years we've done the Drive Home, where we drive cars from a location around the U.S. into Detroit to celebrate driving in the International Detroit Auto Show. The name of this was the Great American Family Vacation. And so that's why we use station wagons, and we kind of recreated what the normal American family would do on a vacation road trip in the U.S. And that was kind of epitomized by the Griswold family in the movie Family Vacation. We even had Aunt Edna on the roof at Mount Rushmore, like the movie, and a lot of people noticed what we were doing. We used road maps too. We highlighted our route and road maps. We didn't rely on Garmin or any kind of other, electronic kind of navigation. A lot of areas where we traveled through national parks like the Grand Tetons, Old Faithful, Mount Rushmore, the Badlands, Devil's Tower. There's no cell service there, so you can't rely totally on electronic navigation. You know, you've done this, so this is not for the light at heart. I mean, if you're a structured person and you have to have breakfast at 6 and lunch or, at noon and dinner or supper, whatever you call it, at 6, you're shaking your head. You know that's not going to happen probably. And things break down. My car overheated several times. And you got to pull off. You got to wait for it to cool off. You got to figure out what's wrong. The horn on Jake's car started going off intermittently. Probably the contacts. The lights were flashing. Left turn signal. So we pull over, figure that out. Disconnected the horn and taped it off. But no, you have to have tools. You have to have a floor jack. You have to be equipped with fluids. We had to have, thankfully we had extra antifreeze or 50/50, and you have to be prepared. Like, people follow you, they stop, they talk, and to me it's that camaraderie, and we drive 55 miles an hour usually, so the folks on I-90, some of them are pretty tolerant, others not so much, but you get a lot of thumbs up, a lot of horn honking, and people for the most part think it's cool.
Well, you do it in a parade fashion, so people understand it's something special. Passing them by, or they're passing you. And it's just fun to see these old vehicles on the road being used.
Almost everyone has a station wagon story. And even young people gravitated toward these and really loved them. So that was fun. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're home. I'm glad you're back. It's always an accomplishment to do that cross-country trip in old vehicles. But it's so important, as you say, at LeMay, because that's part of their mission, is to drive a vehicle like it is intended to be driven. And for me, that was the great pleasure of being a participant those few years I did that. I'll never forget it. I cherish all those memories, all those moments, and something I'll never forget. Well, thank you for your summary of this year, and it sounds like the Drive Home continues to be one of the best automotive events of the year.
Thanks, Bob.